Hello and welcome to a brand new Five Heart Podcast live. I'm your host, Greg Mahochko. It's 9 o'clock Central, aka God's favorite time zone, on the last Thursday before Christmas. That makes this our very special Christmas special. And I know you're wondering, Greg, what's so special about it? You're all alone, you're all by yourself. That's true, I am right now. We are waiting for Minnie. You got to forgive her as, she falls into the routine. And no John this week, which is um, upsetting. It was also last minute. I didn't find out John wasn't going to be here until just a little bit ago. But we got a great substitute to sit in for John. And I don't know if you saw on social media the last 24, 48 hours, something like that. But because this is our very special Christmas special, we have opened up to you, the Chatterfields, to some other staffers at CornNation, and to some celebrities out there in Husker Nation. Our Christmas wish list for Nebraska athletics. So we'll get to those later. Be thinking about that as well. If you didn't already drop us a video, because we're doing things, it's a visual medium now. So be thinking about that. Towards the end of the show, we'll ask you for your Christmas wish list. If Santa could bring you something for Nebraska athletics, what would it be? Save those, and we'll get to them later in the show. Shout out to Highlander Gun, who's here with us again, and not only that, but Highlander Gun is largely responsible for this image here. The Young Guns featuring our very own John Dam Johnston. It's the off season is coming, and we are working out the technical difficulties. I don't even know technical difficulties. We're working out the ways that we can present the Young Guns to you, working around the YouTube algorithm, and just how can we have this get together that we've been talking about for a few weeks now. So Highlander Gun's a big part about that. Terrell Farley's Taint says, "Hey Greg," or "Howdy Greg." What's up, TFT? Good to see you back after a few weeks. And then TFT says, "Is our special guest Tweety?" Honestly, we haven't been in contact with Tweety in a while. We know he's very busy. Again, young family. He doesn't usually get off work until right about now, and then he has to commute home. So we miss him. And Tweety, if you're watching this or catching this down the road, just know all you got to do is reach out and say, "Hey, man, I'd like to be on the show." Open door for Tweety. For almost any of the Cobcast gang, Joe's got to ask permission and probably pay us off. Fred wants to know if John is polishing a PJ Flex dome. I feel like I'm not entirely sure how to answer that question. And by that, I mean, it's Fred, right? So yeah, we'll just move on. James Boardman, who we'll hear from later in the show, says Scotch Frost eggnog. That's not what I'm drinking tonight. We'll get to that later. I got something fun that I'm drinking tonight. Fred's going out in a blaze of Johnston. And Brian Bauer says, "It seems to be a vast wasteland of emptiness to not have John." Well, it's probably time then that we bring in our very special guest. Look, I've always heard some of you maybe wrestling fans or maybe old school wrestling fans. And I used to watch wrestling all the time especially with my friends, and then as we all got older and, got married and had kids, and I realized I was there not so much for the wrestling. I was there for the brotherhood, right? I've substituted that now with you all. But I still listen to old like nostalgia wrestling podcasts, and they said that if you're doing a show and Randy Macho Man Savage can't be there and you need to substitute out, you have to go bigger than. You can't, on a surprise, something like that, you can't bring in I'll say this is unfair. It's not the one I'm thinking of, but you can't bring in like the Big Boss Man or Brutus the Barber Beefcake, right? The only person that you're going to bring in, maybe Andre the Giant or Hulk Hogan, right? So the only person that we can get to fill John's shoes this week, especially this time of year, it's got to be bigger than John. And there are very few people in this world bigger than John. So everybody, MK says it's Todd, isn't it? I said bigger than John. Good evening to you as well, David, living in Omaha. The only person bigger than John that we could find on such short notice, which is crazy because he's usually pretty busy this time of year. It is definitely not Dylan Raiola. Welcome, Santa Claus.
Oh, hello, Husker fans. I'm here to be all full of good cheer and whatever else Santa does. I'm showing up to wish you all a Merry Christmas in person because of all the strife, all the conflict that Nebraska fans have gone through now for the last 20 years of waiting for the return of great Husker football.
Phil Spear says, "Ho ho ho." David Matney's appreciative with an emphatic ha. Highlander Gun says, "Hey Santa." Fred Sackler says, "Oh Jesus Christ."
No, that's the other guy, Fred. For crying out loud.
Moonbot says, "Holy shit, it's Santa." TFT says Santa's wasted. I assure you that Santa is 100% sober. I'm pretty sure. Monica says, "Oh my Santa." Phil's on board with the hell yeah. James Boardman says, "Ringing a bell without a red bucket next to him."
Well, not everybody's out to collect money this time of year, sir. Some of us are here to give whatever we have.
Hey, Monica, we apologize. Highlander Gun wants a John Johnson Young Guns poster saying.
Well,
and TFT says you still owe him a Red Ryder BB gun.
You'll shoot your eyes out, kid.
How are you, sir?
Well, I'm a bit ragged, you know, as this time of year comes around. It's a lot of work, and I was busy for Husker fans, making sure that the early signing day went okay. Because, you know, in the past, one of your other guys never really got a hold of me and didn't ask for any help. So this year, Matt Rule got a hold of me and said, "Could you please make special things happen, Santa?" And boy, howdy did I. You got a 5-star quarterback coming into Nebraska, and if you think Santa didn't have some push on that, well, you got another thing coming.
Brian Bauer, with the only thought that I had when it was brought to my attention that Santa would be joining the show, is this Bad Santa 1 or 2? I'm going to say 2, just based on the number of people who are actually going to watch this. Let's see. Mike Fitz in Minnesota said, "Oh my, any chance Chuba will be an Christmas gift back?"
No, I'm sorry. Chuba Purdy's destiny lies elsewhere with another team. But I've looked at my crystal ball, and I can tell you probably that Nebraska will find one more quarterback before the season begins to fill out the roster in the quarterback room at a much greater level.
Shout out to Fred for brand recognition. Greg with the classic Coke, not Carl Pellini's classic Coke. Not only that, this is Mexican Coca-Cola. So this is pure cane sugar, no high fructose corn syrup. It's a much smoother, much more refreshing drink. I found it in my grocery store. I don't usually drink a lot of soda, but I've been drinking. They come in 4-packs, glass bottles. And you know, it's I figured it's brand appropriate because, as we all know, Coca-Cola has given Santa plenty of money over the years, and just like Nebraska is now giving a 5-star quarterback plenty of money. Santa?
Yeah. Well, let's just say that Dylan Raiola is going to be fairly compensated on his trip to Nebraska. But what his true compensation is going to be is the joy of playing in front of Husker fans, the most dedicated fan base on the entire planet. You people have sat through so much pain in your lives. You deserve something good for once in a while. So you got it.
Nate McHugh says Santa needs a haircut.
I get this stuff all the time.
TFT says,
my real response to Nate is maybe he could pluck some insects out of my beard for me the next time I come to his house.
God. TFT says,
I'm not bad. I'm crusty Santa. That would be the Santa I am.
What, Santa? If you had to, when we're all sleeping, and when we're awake, and when we've been bad or good, and that's why we do need to be good for goodness sake.
It is.
Do you know about Casey Thompson? I know he's been in Lincoln, right? He's been working with Gabe Ervin. He's transferring away from, correct me if I'm wrong, Florida Atlantic, and he's got a 7th year of eligibility. But does it make sense for him to come back to Lincoln as a Husker?
No. He will not be returning to Lincoln. He'll be going to another team kind of like Florida Atlantic, but not Florida Atlantic.
Something just fell behind me. All right, some more comments about my beverage. Highlander Gun says real sugar is the way to go. Fred says Greg Whiteline's Mahachko. And TFT says Mexican Goku's best served on a stripper's ass.
Well,
hey fella.
We know who's on the naughty list there.
This is gonna be a fun show. So we have heard from Minnie. She's having some computer issues. As soon as I see her window pop up, I'll make sure that she joins the show. Let's see here. Some other ones. All right. David Matney with a great question. David Matney brings only the best questions, right? He never has a bad question. Matt Rule is 1-0 in off seasons, like off-season national champion 2023. Santa, at this point in our undefeated offseason, what do you think our final record will be next year? Oh, that's way too early. I should have said
9-3.
9, interesting. Who's going to be under
Nebraska,
center?
Ben Scott.
Now, who's going to be center? Who's going to be under center?
Dylan Raiola.
You
don't bring a guy in and pay him crap tons of money just to stand on the sidelines of what, for crying out loud. Your offense will take a 180-degree turn. You'll see the turnovers lessen and the touchdowns increase by magnitude, which
that's
really
good.
Isn't saying a lot.
Phil Spears with a good one here. Coca-Cola and Santa go together like Scott Frost and Golden Tea. And Fred says John's voice sounds like the Black Scorpion when he terrorized Sting back in 1990. Do you get that reference, Santa?
No, I do not.
So back in the early days of WCW, we're getting way off. Fred, I appreciate the deep cut, but now I have to take time away from Husker talk to explain this. Do you know who Sting is? The wrestler Sting.
Oh, I thought you were referring to the musician.
No. Let me see here. Let me see if I can jog your memory. Santa, why don't you tell everybody a good story?
Well, a good story would be Santa knowing all of you being naughty and nice, and boy, did you guys have a lot of naughty words coming out of your mouths during Husker football games this season. But Santa's decided that since you've gone through so much, having to deal with that guy before Matt Rule came along, that Santa's just going to be forgiving and put all the Nebraska fans on the nice list this year, except for maybe one or two. And you'll all be getting something better than coal.
All right, so I'm going to put up a picture. Again, this is not Husker related in any way, shape, or form, but by God, it's the Thursday before Christmas, so who cares? Does that individual look familiar to you, Santa?
Just slightly. You know what? Right. He never left me cookies. The hell with him.
Well, so that's Sting. And back in World Championship Wrestling, which was owned by Ted Turner's, Turner Corporation at the time, there was a storyline in professional wrestling. I don't know if you know this, and I hate to be the guy that pulls the curtain back, but it's sort of like worked out ahead of time. You know what I mean? Anyway, he was there was a masked figure known as the Black Scorpion, who's supposed to be like his equal, his nemesis, his yin to his yang, or however that works out. So anyway, Fred, we spent way too much time on that. My apologies to everybody, including Minnie. Hello, Minnie.
Hi, guys.
Great seeing you. How's everything?
Who is that white-haired masked man?
Well, obviously you don't know who I am because you have been on the naughty list for many years in a row, young lady. But you'll be happy to know that you could continue stalking Dylan Raiola for the next at least 3 years. That's your Christmas present for this year.
Thank you, Santa. I love the voice.
I'm working on it.
Dave Matney wants to know, Santa, that beard looks great. By any chance you're using CornNation hair care products?
I am. I'm testing them early. And as you can see, they keep everything nice and insect-free, which is important with hair like this, especially when you go to Nate McHugh's house. So, wait. I saw somebody ask a question about next year's starting running back. Next year's starting running back is already on the roster. His name is Gabe Ervin. You've seen him before. You loved him. He'll be back next season with something to prove, running behind an improved offensive line. I'm telling you, next year, the offense is going to be magnitudes better than we've seen for a long time in Lincoln, Nebraska. Magnitudes better.
Magnitudes
better.
I'm just trying to figure out.
Johnson back in the saddle, you'll have you guys. Everybody thinks you need another running back. You just need to take the guys you got and do the best you can with them. Gabe Ervin, Ramir Johnson, Emmett Johnson, some other guy we haven't heard of yet. It'll be fine.
Santa.
Yeah.
Do you ever foresee a backfield? Obviously, Dylan Raiola as quarterback, but Emmett and Ramir, and we could have Johnson and Johnson.
We could have Johnson and Johnson.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, how? Emmett Johnson and
Ramir Johnson?
Ramir Johnson.
Oh, my God. I had a chance to go to the Colorado game this past season, and I met Ramir Johnson. He was fantastic. I got to talk to Gabe Ervin Jr.'s dad, senior, and the mom, and Gabe Ervin. And then next thing I know, both of these guys are out for the season. I was so bummed.
You need to stay as far away from Dylan Raiola as possible then.
I know. It's so true.
Minnie, where's the Christmas tree?
Well, I moved because the kids are home.
Hmm.
But Santa, I have a
All
where's my
right.
hat?
That's
Yeah,
the spirit. That's the spirit.
because I'm sure
That's
you already
the
said
spirit.
this, Santa, but Christmas came early for Husker fans, right?
Yes. Very, yes.
Yes.
Probably going to get a little bit
Yes.
more Christmassy before, before we're all done, said and done. We're going to get a little bit more Christmassy, but that hasn't been talked about or released yet.
You know, I got
Santa can't
something.
give away secrets.
I got something in my stocking already. It came just yesterday. And I have to say, I mean, it felt kind of like I got, a bag of coals in my stocking when I opened it up
I'm very scared.
because I don't think this is true anymore. This couldn't be true.
I think that Johnston fellow is going to have to come up with a different tagline.
Which, you know what? Great question, Santa. Because Mike Fitz
Yeah.
in Minnesota wants to know, does John Johnston get coal?
Well, normally John's on the naughty list, so buried so deep, he doesn't even get coal. I just fly over his house and the reindeer poop as we're going by.
We appreciate your honesty.
Yeah.
We're going to need new merch. Absolutely. Maybe, I mean, if we were thinking ahead, we would have had Santa like delivering in his sled, Dylan Raiola in the back.
Are you saying that like to your
But
house or to Lincoln or
No,
what?
on a t-shirt.
Oh,
On a
oh,
t-shirt.
merch.
I thought you meant for real. I think young people like that don't appreciate being kidnapped like they did years ago.
Let's see here. James Boardman says Oregon transfer running back Dante Dowdell is visiting next month. And
He could be a good ad.
I'm just curious to know if the voice is going to hold. Are you going to stay in the gimmick the entire show?
Oh, what gimmick?
Okay.
What are you saying, Greg?
No.
One thing I'd like to say to Husker fans is this. Listen, you got 26 or 29 signees in this early signing day class. If you go all through that list of players, you got some damn good potential there. And rather than spending your next few days wondering about who else is going to show up, you should probably be happy with what you got because you got a list of a really great group of players. You got the best player out of Iowa. And not only did you get him out of Iowa, but you've rescued that young man from having to deal with those people in Iowa for the next 4 years. So you're not only improving your football program, but you're improving the lives of young people everywhere by bringing them to Nebraska to play football under Matt Rule and this fan base that I know is going to be appreciated of them the next few years.
So I heard some chatter about Casey Thompson today that he entered the transfer portal.
He did enter the transfer portal.
What
Nebraska
do
is not a destination.
No way?
No way.
Are you sure, Santa?
Yeah. Yes, I'm sure. I was so sure that I was choking up pieces of my beard.
Well, it is important to note. I saw it up here. I got to find it again. Never mind. I'm not gonna be able to find it. Something about the because here we go. CornNation beard care products now 40% bug free. Thank you, Fred.
Santa wants to take a question here. Mike Fitz, Minnesota says, Santa, can you make Colorado really suck next year? Santa doesn't even have to do that. They're going to suck on their own.
Oh.
They only signed 6 players. They came up with the best portal class, but for crying out loud, does anybody believe you could just build with no players coming in your recruiting classes? Deion Sanders is going to leave Colorado more bare than my wife's cupboards. He's only going to be there another year, and Colorado's just going to be a wasteland after he's gone.
I heard, okay, so I have to say it, Terrell Farley's taint.
I mean, we just say TFT around here.
Okay, thank you. He just said he heard Thompson was coming too. Because on Instagram, he posted the same things that Dylan Raiola posted. Did anyone see that?
A guy can't post it like shoes.
Oh, isn't a destination for Thompson. That's Travis McCarter.
Right.
I'm scrolling up to see if I can.
Why do people want to see Casey Thompson back in Nebraska?
Well,
I just think because we like him.
We like him. He had such a great attitude.
Okay, well, that's a good reason.
I like.
and he can run. He can run too.
I'd watch out for that knee though. He's
no.
Yeah, true.
No.
Or SEO. I like this. I like the comment. I hope it's false, but the comment itself gave me a chuckle. Phil Spears says Casey's going to turn heel and transfer to Colorado.
Wow.
I mean,
I think they already
vicious.
have a favorite. They already have a favorite son quarterback.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Is why would any quarterback transfer to Colorado knowing that, barring injury, there's no chance that they're going to see the field?
Exactly.
Well, they wouldn't.
Speaking of Colorado. Yep, here we go. This is from Justin earlier. It says, Santa, make sure you correct that offensive tackle Jordan Seaton delivery that you accidentally dropped off of Colorado. It's supposed to come here.
Yeah, it's like we're working on it. We're working on it right now as we speak.
Right. He didn't sign on early signing day, and then some of the rumors that got out or reports were that the individuals who were sliding up in his DMs, that I don't think anybody says anymore, which is probably why me as a white 41-year-old said it, is that it was Dylan Raiola and Nebraska, meaning I don't know if that's coaches or Matt Rule or what, but trying to make a late push for, I believe, a 5-star offensive tackle.
Yes. We need more tackles at Nebraska.
Oh, yeah.
On both sides of the ball. Santa, when you
Nebraska did pull in some good offensive linemen in this.
Yeah, we pull in like 5 offensive linemen. Yeah, that's pretty good. That brings us up to what, 16 or 17?
Well, one has to wonder, with their scholarship limit already at its peak, and the number of players that they're bringing in, and the number of players that didn't leave like people predicted because, we were so terrible at Nebraska. Nobody wants to be around this losing program. Good grief, people. Get a clue, you trolls.
Santa, earlier, when you were predicting 9-3, TFT took issue with that and specifically said, boo, 16-0.
Well, patience, Terrell Farley's.
Say it, Santa.
Change. Have patience. You're going to wait till the 3rd year till you get to that point.
Mike Fitz in Minnesota, watching on X. I'm going to do this because it won't be the last time you see it today. Stick around for that later on in the show. But we're streaming, of course, on YouTube like we always do, but also live on Facebook and on X. And that's where Mike's watching and commenting. It says, Santa, thanks for being a Nebraska supporter. How much nil money gifts should we give to Nebraska Santa?
What are you talking about? Me as Nebraska Santa?
That's what I'm wondering. I'm thinking maybe there's supposed to be a comma there.
Should we give to Nebraska
Santa? Would
Santa?
appreciate just cookies. I would, for Nebraska Santa would appreciate more than cookies sometimes. But in terms of giving nil gifts, you know, Nebraska's done a good job of that. Their things are in good shape, but you give whatever you feel like giving. I can't really chime in on that, being a guy that, you know, is about giving myself. I don't know. Okay, give $250 to 1890 right now.
So I'm going to tell you what I did, because I have my nephew is a freshman in high school, which means that I'm sorry, Santa, he doesn't believe in you anymore, and he's a farm kid who like didn't ask me. The only honest idea that I got from my sister about what to get my nephew was a bucket of car wash supplies. I don't know. Pretty simple kid, but he's a good kid. And I'll tell you, I said, you know, he's the kind of kid that I'd take on a road trip, like for some beef jerky. And I thought, wait a minute. If only there was a place that I could get beef jerky.
That's a good present.
And support
yeah,
Nebraska athletics. And so I went to Pipeline Jerky. And this is what I got. I can't remember if it's called like just the Pipeline pack or what. But what it is it is 4 bags of their peppercorn beef jerky, and there's more. It's another 4 bags of their honey barbecue pork jerky. So this is all getting wrapped up and given to my nephew. Luckily, I know for a fact he's not watching, because I don't know if he knows about podcasts or streaming videos. So I'm not ruining a surprise, but not, you know, gift giving through Pipeline Jerky. It's delicious jerky. I've had it before, and I know my nephew's going to enjoy it when he's out in the fields.
You know what the best part of their pork jerky is, Mr. Machachko?
What?
It's moist. It's moist. Their pork jerky is moist. You don't really find a good moist jerky. Most of the jerky is really dry and not very good. Great moist pork jerky.
I'm so sorry, Minnie.
Okay. I think that Santa's going to have to shave. My God. The hair part, it's just continuing to grow. Santa will be right back in a couple of minutes.
Fred says that if Santa shows up as the Easter Bunny in the spring, he'll kick another $100 for Team Jack and get us all watch a movie that I hate. So, all right, challenge accepted. But how would you know it's Santa in costume? I guess that'd be.
Ooh, did you see this? Mike Fitz from Minnesota gave $1,000 to the 1890 tonight. Good going.
That is putting your money where your mouth is.
Love it.
Well,
unless there was a typo there. Maybe he added a couple extra zeros.
$1. Wait, is there a double point after the 1 or after the first 0? Josh, we were trying to figure that one out as well. How many times was Santa going to say moist? And Highlander Gun says moist pork is hard to beat. Fred, I wish Santa was here for all this. Fred said, hearing Santa say moist repeatedly makes him uneasy. I don't disagree. That's when I just apologized to you, Minnie. So thank you for being the tremendous sport that you are.
You know what, though? I have to say, hearing Santa say moist is not as bad as hearing Minnesota's coach, PJ Fleck, say poise. Did you catch that? That was his word for the season.
No, I missed
poise. That. Ew.
Although,
ew.
Wait, I'm not sure. You know, we have competition for how many times is somebody in the third chair going to say something that's going to make us all as a group feel uncomfortable?
Comfortable.
Because Josh says this, a little callback to last week. Josh says new Cobby merch, Pipeline CornNation Circle Jerky.
I don't think John even got it. How many times did he say circle? Oh,
Hey, look who's back.
What's up with the girl? He's like trying to outdo me with the curls.
Santa, are you muted? Yeah, you're muted. We can't hear you at all.
Oh, you sons of bitches.
There we go. That's better.
Look at this outfit. This is
that's pretty dope, honestly. By the way, Minnie, Phil Spear is all aboard the hate train for PJ Fleck. And Fred Sacco says PJ Fleck is 10 cheeseburgers away from becoming Colonel Kurtz. So, all right.
Okay.
I wonder what his word for this next year is going to be.
Do you think he'd do a reboot?
No, please no.
Let's see. And Mike Fitz again, who lives in Minnesota, says PJ Fleck was talking about his holiday tree on KFAN.
Of course, he has to be politically correct. It's not a Christmas tree; it's a holiday tree.
Oh, that's
well.
Right.
Do we want to talk? I mean, we've hit on some of the individuals who have signed this week. Is it all right if I go down the list and we just get quick lightning round reactions?
Yes, that would be a great idea.
All right.
That'd be wonderful.
It's unanimous. Dylan Raiola.
Yay!
Sorry, I can't read the list and watch the screen at the same time. So, all right, Grant Bricks.
Oh,
who I know we mentioned. Santa mentioned saving this poor young man from a life of in Hawkeye Land. Mario Buford.
Yeah.
And then
Marcus
a legacy.
Buford.
Yes. Caleb Benning.
So excited.
Coming in as a safety. I understand.
Let's see. Okay, here we go. Mike says, John Johnston, we have hope now.
We do.
All right. Let's go with Ja'Cory Barney, a receiver from Miami.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
We did pretty good with the Florida guys.
We did. And we have a corner in Hill Bly, cornerback.
I think he was the last-minute addition.
How about Ainsworth's own Carter Nelson?
Amazing.
That's a big one.
Number one tight end in the country, I believe.
You got the number one tight end. You got the number one player of Nebraska 2 weeks in a row, which is a sign that Nebraska, that Matt Rule is locking down the border.
Yes.
That's important. It's important because, the people who know Nebraska football, pay attention to high school football in Nebraska, basically say that Nebraska football is actually, high school football is actually putting out some good players. And we don't have to suffer the embarrassment of them going other places and having good games with other teams. There was a concern that Carter Nelson would go to Notre Dame, and he didn't. So there.
I like Fred's question.
I do too.
It's a good question, Fred, because I was wondering the same thing. What are we gonna do a thumbs down for any of the guys?
No. The reason I'm doing it's not. It's not. I'm going.
You want us to clap?
No, I don't want to clap. I sort of what John just gave there a moment ago. Just a few words about excitement. Okay. Because I can't. Nobody's thumbing down anybody. I don't think.
No,
what
definitely
do
not.
I know? All right. let's see here. We got Braylon Prude, if I'm pronouncing that right, from Texas. Don't know much about him. Somebody else does.
Linebacker.
I'm trying to pull up. Yeah, I'm trying to pull up this list.
I'm glad you're doing all that. From Omaha North, Mr. Donovan Jones.
Oh yeah. Yep, I saw him on an interview yesterday. Defensive back.
Another
Again,
defensive back. Yep.
and that's a kind of like we were talking, the added depth at the offensive line, like cornerbacks or defensive backs at secondaries, it's a position group you can't have too many.
Mm-hmm.
Ashton Murphy as a pass rusher.
I'll be honest, I didn't hardly pay attention to any of the defensive guys we got. Because I was looking at all the offense and thinking, I know that the thing about the defense, when you look at Nebraska's defense, is, what they say about having teams is get old and stay old. And what that means is you don't want to get into a position where you're playing true freshmen. Because if you're getting into a position where you're playing true freshmen, it means you have no depth throughout the rest of your classes. So when I looked at all this recruiting class, the only ones I paid attention to were offensive players. And that's not to poo-poo the defensive players, because we certainly need them, but I just didn't really look at any of them.
It seems like they can do a lot with a guy who's just willing to play.
Well, we hope that we're a development team.
Absolutely.
And I think next year we're going to find out more about how much development we're going to be able to do.
Yeah.
All right, so staying in state from Elkhorn is Ashton Murphy, listed as a defensive lineman. And I think now's a great time to be a defensive lineman, a young defensive lineman at Nebraska, because you have the ability to sit. You've got Nash, you've got Ty Robinson, you've got P. Will and Cameron Lenhart. You've got some of these guys who have set a bar. The D line hasn't always been great the last few years, but we definitely saw a resurgence in 2023. So you have the ability to come sit under their learning tree a little bit. And I just think, of all the position groups, maybe the defensive line's the best one to be a young guy in, because I don't know if the expectation. Go ahead, Minnie.
No, they're going to rotate you in. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we've got
you're right.
And we've got Missouri's Player of the Year coming in, and Keelan Smith, who's listed as a wide receiver / tight end. If you're getting state players of the year, I just think that's good. Because especially when you're stealing, Missouri's a program on the up. They
are.
I read something today where there was a kid who was, I think, playing at Oklahoma and transferred to Missouri, and then a lot of Sooner fans were jumping on his dad's business, like the dad's a State Farm agent or something like that, and they're leaving 1-star reviews on this guy's Google review system. He's like, man, these people, you've never done business in my office. You're just mad. Don't be better. Not a good look, and this is definitely not a good look. Eric Ingwerson, there we go. I got it from Papillion La Vista. Is in. He's a 3-star, listed as tight end, defensive end, and athlete, 6'7", 250. I think that's got the build of a defensive end all day long, John.
Yep.
6'7"? Is that what you said?
6. According to his I was gonna say Twitter, but his X, he's listed himself as 6'7", 250.
Dang.
So, and then Jake Peters is in. He's another offensive lineman from Iowa, which is great, because Iowa.
Yes.
There's something.
Yes. We know why.
And Ian Flint, whose dad apparently was a Husker track and field program years back. Ian Flint comes to us from Texas. And he's a tight end commit. So wide receiver from – go ahead. I'm sorry, Minnie.
No, I was just thinking, they showed that map on like all these states that we got our recruits from, and it was like Texas, Florida, Iowa, Nebraska, right? Am I missing some?
Nebraska, Iowa, Texas,
maybe
Florida,
5.
Iowa,
Missouri.
Missouri.
It depends on,
and
depends on what you're
Hawaii.
looking at.
Absolutely.
If you're looking at the class, or you're looking at the transfer portal.
Well, I liked how they kind of showed the map of the United States, and everything was in red that we got, and it was like mainly concentrated, like the big states, where I thought that was really neat.
Let's see. I'm scrolling through some of these. Completely agree with you here, Highlander Gunness. I think we all do. Player development is the key.
Missouri and Montana, yep. And Hawaii.
And we kind of Georgia because that's where Raiola comes from.
Well, yeah. And maybe there's more to come.
Maybe. John, Phil Spear says your voice sounds like the Exorcist demon.
I have many voices.
Are you using a different setup tonight?
No.
Like the camera's different?
I've rearranged things.
Okay.
We're trying different things because I am continuing to do history videos, and I'm trying to do a more professional job at things. Everything looks better, including the hair. There you go. Next week I might show up as Matthew McConaughey or a Badger.
That wouldn't be bad.
Which one?
The Matthew McConaughey. No Badgers.
I could just see now John showing up. John, if you show up in a burnt orange T-shirt, we're just going to throw you off the show.
Yeah, and no gold and black either.
Cornhusker Corner says John dressed as Santa but looks like Mrs. Claus.
Well, it's pretty. Everything's pretty fuzzy these days about how things go with that. So, how did you go through this list of players and not come up with Danny Kaelin?
I'm not done with the list yet, John.
He's taking his
Keep
time.
going.
Okay, sorry. We'll just more quick hit.
He's checking his list. He's checking his list and checking it twice.
Maybe you should take over. Isaiah McMorris, one of the two receivers from Bellevue.
Mm-hmm.
And Davon Hall, a receiver from Omaha. Danny Kaelin, there we go. We've got him. Gibson Pyle, whoever wrote this article, I think it might have been Nate, says might be the best name for an offensive line recruit in some time. But he's an offensive lineman from Texas. We've got Roger Gradney, an athlete from Texas. Let's see. From Colorado, a 3-star safety, Rex Guthrie from Littleton. Landon Davidson, an offensive line recruit from Broomfield. Not entirely sure where Broomfield is. Anybody want to take a guess on Broomfield?
6 foot 4, 308 pounds.
Six what?
No, Broomfield, Colorado.
Yeah, Broomfield, Colorado.
308 pounds for that guy.
That's a good size. Quinn Clark from Montana. There we go. 6'5" receiver. Dang. Some good height there. And the flip from Miami, or was committed to Miami from Florida, and then we flipped him, the pass rusher Vincent Shavers. That'd be a good one to have. Mm-hmm. And then also from Florida, we have Larry Tarver Jr., and I saw this in the comments earlier, so I wanted to make sure that he's a defensive back. And Travis McCarter says, watch some film on Tarver. Looks really impressive, especially against the run. So, see, I'm trying to multitask here, everybody.
You're doing a good job. You're doing a good job.
Oh, shucks. You're okay. I don't care what anybody says about you, which I can tell you don't either, so that's fine. Who else we got? We've got Evan Taylor, defensive back from North Carolina, or some say North Kakalaki. I don't know if you all are familiar with that one. And then from New Jersey, Nico. This is going to take some time getting used to. Otto Manelli. Any guesses? Any rights or wrongs? Am I pretty accurate on that one?
These are all new people. I have had to pronounce no names except Danny Raiola, or Dylan Raiola and Danny Kaelin. That's the only names I've had to pronounce.
Danny Raiola.
I saw the look you gave me, and you're like, "How dare you?"
Put them together. We could put them together, and maybe they'd be one super uber quarterback. We do have two elite 11 quarterbacks.
I know.
Yeah, John is on dial-up tonight.
Fantastic.
You know what? John is gonna do something about his internet provider after the beginning of the year, because this is ridiculous. It's been terrible for the past few days, to the point that it's costing me money.
Money.
I'll tell you, one of the ones that I'm really excited about is punter Camden Cook.
Yeah.
And I mean, we all remember, not only did his dad have a tremendous career at Nebraska, but what a long, probably, I don't know how many punters get into the Hall of Fame, but you got to figure that what he did throughout his career with Baltimore, and I hate saying it because I hate Baltimore, but very excited. If he passed on like half of his, talent and abilities and wisdom to Camden, very excited for that young man's future in the Scarlet and Cream. And then the one we talked about last week a little bit was Andrew Rugaroli, the offensive tackle from Las Vegas. And I think that's the list. If I missed somebody, I apologize.
We're missing one big guy.
Who?
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's listed on 247, at least. Preston Tuama from Hawaii.
You're right.
No, he's on the list.
Didn't you say
he's a 4-star? Did you say him? 6'4", 350
I didn't say
pounds.
He was the last one, I think, because Hawaii is like 3 hours later.
He didn't get added on the list on CornNation.com. I don't know who dropped the ball on that one, but I feel horrible for it.
That one's a good. I mean, 6'5", 315 pounds coming in. They picked up some good offensive linemen, I think.
Wow.
Also, Willis. Yeah, you're right. Willis McGahee the fourth. We didn't have him on the list, and again, that was tremendous because we pulled him, and his dad was again the stud in Miami. So
obviously we're over, right, on scholarships.
Quite a bit, I believe. And that's I think maybe that's the worst part, but I also think it's a testament to Matt Rule and the staff that he has, because not too many guys were just bailing on Lincoln, bailing on Nebraska, bailing on the team and jumping into the portal. Yeah. It's going to create a logistics problem. But I think, we'll let that one get sorted out. Get the guys on campus.
They can put these guys. They can put these guys on a base nil salary that basically pays for whatever they need, and then they don't need to be on scholarship. It's the new world we're living in.
True.
105 people have to show up at camp in August. That's it. So I imagine between now and August, we'll work it out.
Cornhusker Corner says, as Coach Bush says multiple times on the radio, recruiting classes should be ranked 4 years later, because that's where you can actually tell how good the class was. Sure. So we'll see, but I'm excited.
I love Bill
Bush.
Well,
you know what they say about recruiting? There's only two things people pay for on the internet, and that's recruiting and porn. And that's why we get recruiting rankings, is because people dig this stuff. They eat it up like candy. They stalk teenagers. That's why we have to have recruiting rankings. This is a huge industry.
We don't know anybody who stalked teenagers and admitted it openly, publicly on the internet in the last week or so, do we?
Not at all.
No.
Let's see here. There's a question about what do we do with Heinrich Harburg?
Well,
Go ahead.
Here we go. Steve-O says, not sure where to insert this. Got here late. Has anyone speculated a new innovative position for Heinrich? Slot end or wild wing?
Well, we're gonna have who's our quarterback room? It's Dylan Raiola,
Danny Kaelin,
and
Heinrich
Harburg.
You're not going to move Heinrich Harburg to another position now. You can't. You have Luke Longvall and I can't remember the other guys. Jack Loesch as backup.
That's it.
Okay, so Heinrich Harburg is not going anywhere in terms of being another position player. He's going to have to play quarterback, and if that means that we're going to limit the offense if we get down to that point, then so be it. Maybe they put him in for some wildcat plays. He can do some things.
Mm-hmm.
So
and
he's played the position. He's a big guy. Yeah, he's very athletic.
I always thought that throughout the year they would come up with plays specifically for him because he can run. He's such an athlete. Yeah. And I think that's kind of like what he's the best at.
It's crazy to think that when we opened up the season in Minnesota, he was lined up as a tight end and even had a reception.
I know.
So let's see. James Boardman says Double H is the third quarterback for now. We need the depth. Brian Bauer speculates that maybe he'll start as a QB1 until someone takes the job. I could almost see more. It's going to be Raiola and then maybe Heinrich Harburg and then Danny Kaelin.
Brian always makes really good comments, and I appreciate his comments a lot because he makes great points. But when
this is where she's going to tell you you're wrong. I have a feeling.
I'm just going to say, Brian, I love your comments, but go look at his highlight tapes from this year compared to, he didn't put any out for his junior year, but compare that to his sophomore year. There's a significant difference. And he was good his freshman, sophomore year and good his junior year even. But the way that he throws the ball now, I was looking at him, and I know nobody likes to make these comparisons, but, Patrick Mahomes, the way he throws the ball, and then Dylan went up right behind him and threw a ball. I couldn't tell the difference. Sometimes I know you see me like squinting. I have to get real close, but it was like that. It was like, oh my gosh, this is the same movement. So
I'm gonna look up something here.
I think he's starting against Utah.
Who's that?
Dylan Raiola.
Dylan? Yeah. If you're going to develop, you're going to develop, right?
Right. And you know Mahomes, what? I think as a fan base, we would give him a ton of grace.
I would hope so.
I think I don't disagree. Again, I would hope so, but I think that when you're as highly touted as you are and you're being paid the money that you're paid as a college freshman, people are probably going to have certain expectations that they and demands that they put on you. If whether that's fair or not, I don't think it's necessarily fair, but I don't know if I don't know how much of a leash, if quarterback play in 2024 resembles quarterback play in 2023, Nebraska fans are going to ask for a refund.
Oh gosh. Well, that was the whole. It seems like we have everything in line. We have an amazing fan base. We have an amazing facility. We have a great school. Like, we have so much. It's great coaches. And it seemed like there was just like one missing link, just one little missing link that kind of messed it all up. And I think, there's been so much gone in on this that's been fixed.
So, since you mentioned the similarities between what you saw, in Dylan Raiola and Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah.
I did a quick Google while we're right here, and Mahomes was never a Heisman finalist,
Right? No?
despite
Yep.
the numbers he put up at Texas Tech, over 11,000 passing yards, 93 touchdown passes, 22 interceptions. But he was never in talks. And say what you want about his professional career. I'm not a Chiefs fan, so I don't necessarily have a dog in the fight. I think Nebraska fans would much rather prefer Raiola develop at a level that surpasses. That's a big ask, certainly. I don't know if we'll ever have the style of play that will allow a quarterback to throw over 11,000 yards. But I think individual achievements aside, I don't know if Nebraska fans care about any player winning a Heisman. I think Nebraska fans long for that team success. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
So, let's see. Thought I had a comment here. Use Harburg as the Tebow type in heavy sets or in backfield with other quarterback for option or direct snap plays. I don't disagree with that. Abram, we talked about this at the top of the show. Casey Thompson, we don't foresee coming back to Lincoln to play for Nebraska. Let's see here.
Some of us don't.
One of us does. All right, so let's see. Londell wants Jordan Seaton for Christmas. Don't we all? And that's a great time to look. We're an hour into the show. If you, and I touched on it at the very beginning, but earlier this week I put out on social media, hey, we want you to be a part of the show. And some of you in the Chatterfields, again, rose to the occasion and actually submitted videos for this part of the show. We also have some CornNation staffers and a couple of surprises that we think you're really going to like. So what I really like for you, the viewers right now to do is in the comments, just kind of give your Nebraska athletics wish list, for Santa who's here. Now don't be disappointed if it doesn't come true, because I understand that when Santa takes off his beard in the middle of the show, some of the magic gets lost. So with all of that, no, okay, my bad. Real quick before we get there,
when he takes off his hair.
Travis McCarter says, I worry the defense will appear to take a step back simply because Nebraska played against bad offenses. The Pac-12 teams will have more firepower next year. Any thoughts? Are we worried about a regression for the defense?
No, not at all.
No,
not at all.
Like they were in the first year. They were in the first year of a new defensive coordinator's defense. Yeah. They learned what they were doing this year. They're going to be better. The other thing you got to remember is throughout the entire season, we played like 23 guys a game. So they didn't just learn the defense. They had a crap ton of guys learn the defense. Will it take a step back? It was pretty good. So, maintaining at that level, can it be difficult? Yeah. Are we going to play better offenses? Well, we don't know that yet. Caleb Williams isn't at USC, and they look like they've fallen apart a little bit. Washington and Oregon are coming in. They're certainly both those quarterbacks are gone. So they got to break in new stuff.
It's hard to believe that Dylan Gabriel is still playing football.
To the future with the Big Ten. The new Big Ten is going to be more exciting than ever. And we're going to be part of it.
Yep. James Boardman, can you?
I can.
Sorry, I don't know how to do it. The 904.
904 Arizona time.
James Boardman says, hell no, the defensive line will be one of the best in the nation. That is true. I expect them to just wreck the shit out of everybody. Yeah.
Yeah.
Fred says we're still built to handle the Pac-12 offenses probably better than the road grader offenses.
offense is better than the
Well,
road
we'll see
grader
what happens.
offense.
Let's see. Fred says, "Hey, someone hit John's eggnog with Red Bull." That scared me too. Even Justin's like, "Whoa."
Yeah. You know, I think I'll dress up at Santa more often. I feel energized.
It's probably not good. It's probably not good for your heart.
That's great for my heart.
Aw.
Michael Hansen says it will be exciting to see the Huskers keep improving and developing a great team in the future. Very hopeful to see 8-4 season. That's, we can't argue with that. All right, let's see here. Starring a few of these. James Boardman says in regards to Dylan Raiola that he won't throw for 11,000 yards. He's going to be here for 3 years and be the number 1 overall pick. Now, a lot of that will have to do with the production and execution around him, even on the defensive side of the ball. Because I don't think, correct me if I'm wrong, you're not the number 1 pick if your team is a turd in a punch bowl. So,
I don't think it. I think they. Listen, here's the thing. List who was the last Nebraska guy to play quarterback in the NFL?
Yeah, exactly. Well, what was it?
Tanner Lee?
Yeah.
Tanner Lee.
No, was it Tanner Lee?
Or was it
played in the NFL?
Was it Zach Taylor?
Come on, you guys, in the comment section. Who was the last quarterback to play in the NFL from Nebraska?
Tanner Lee.
Quarterback.
Tanner Lee.
You sure?
I'm Googling right now from NFL.com.
Okay.
I'm trying to pull his stats.
Okay.
Cobain says Tanner Lee.
But here's the thing, that you had to look that up, and nobody in the comments section, everybody's going Tanner Lee now.
That was 8 years ago, 9 years ago.
Yeah. What about before him? Name 3 quarterbacks from Nebraska that played in the NFL. You can't.
So what you're saying is it just doesn't happen?
Because you're missing one name, which is Bruce Matheson, who really didn't play very much for Nebraska, but he did play in the NFL. I believe he played in the Super Bowl. And then think about that. That's decades of Nebraska football being at a very high level, and we couldn't put a quarterback into these. Done something way beyond any other Nebraska quarterback has done. That's pretty impressive. This is a new future for us. It's exciting.
It is.
There you go.
It's really exciting.
I run out of breath.
Let's see here. Tanner Lee was drafted by the Jacksonville Jaguars in the 6th round, 203rd overall of the 2018 NFL draft. I may have been incorrect.
Zach Taylor.
10th, he signed his rookie contract. He was waived on September 1st and was signed to the practice squad the next day. He's promoted to the active roster December 28th and was waived by the Jaguars again in 2019. So no stats. I apologize. I'm a horrible human being.
You are.
Kidding. Wow. The shot's coming in.
Kidding.
Phil Spear came in with Vinsky Beragamo there. But this is an exciting new future, I think, for Nebraska. Vince Ferragamo, wait a long time ago.
Sorry.
But, it's so. I think about this again. I'm reiterating. We have 2 Elite 11 quarterbacks on the ring. And talked about a lot is because we have the number 1 quarterback recruit in the nation.
You mean Danny Raiola?
Danny Raiola,
you said earlier.
Well, I might have. Yeah.
All right, so now would be hold on, before we get to our Christmas wish list, and we got a few in the comments already, much earlier in the show. I don't know if y'all been watching some of the other comments from other teams and coaches, but TFT said, did you guys see the most punchable head coach in Iowa was throwing shade at Dylan Raiola yesterday? I believe something about I don't. he didn't want his coaches talking to anybody who'd been at 3 different high schools in the last 3 years, or something like
Yeah.
that. So
He's just a pissy old man.
he is.
What?
He doesn't have an
You know,
offensive lineman.
I just like to point this out. When you get old, you don't have to get angry and crusty. This is an option. You do not have to be a bitter person.
Well, John, we're glad that you decided to
True.
become bitter and angry, and makes for a
Just
fun show.
sometimes. Yeah, I go like this.
And then Abram says we're a run first offense, so we didn't throw the ball much. So a lot of our quarterbacks were never looked at. I'm excited to see this pro style offense mixed with a little option. So,
Me too.
all right. Well, as I mentioned at the outset, we put it out there for anybody to submit a video for their wish list. I'm going to play some of them now. I'm going to just lead all up to definitely probably our most, again, as far as names go, probably, finish off with our biggest name. But let's get to some of these. The first one is going to be from Nate McHugh from CornNation. Let's see what Nate has to say.
Okay, this is my third attempt. My first video was 7 minutes long. The second was 4 minutes long, and Greg complained. So now I have to do this video in less than 30 seconds. I now have 15 seconds left. Okay, so here we go. 1, I want a veteran quarterback for 1 year transfer. 2, I want John to cut his hair. 3, I want there's not enough time to get through all of them.
That was good. That was good.
Veteran quarterback for a year, and John get a haircut.
Do you do this a lot, Minnie?
No.
I haven't seen her mess with her hair at all.
I don't
That was
really
a pretty
do that.
icy no.
I don't
I never
know.
learned how to. Okay, let's move on. I hurt myself.
Okay, John.
Fred says that Nate's wife makes him do videos in the car. I actually, when he sent me the first one, I said 4 minutes, dude, seriously? And he said, give me some time and I'll get you another one. So anyway, all right. This next one comes from one of our very own Chatterfields. Hope he's still around for this part of the show. James Boardman stepping up.
CornNation, this is James Boardman, and I wish everybody a happy holidays. And my wish would be for the quarterback room to be less like Santa Claus and more like the Grinch. Quit handing out presents to the opposing defense. Bah humbug. Go Big Red.
I love that.
That was
Didn't know
nice.
exactly
That was nice.
That was good, James. Well done. Thank you for that one. Yeah. As far as messing with the hair, John, Minnie is a professional, so she doesn't
Wow.
Yes.
sit there and mess with
She
her
is,
hair.
she's doing pretty well for her second show.
Thank you. Thanks, Santa.
This guy James says, "What a handsome guy that other guy was."
Oh.
Living in Omaha, David Matney says, "Amen." As does Phil Spear, and Husker Nation 1 says, "Nice wish." So
Okay.
good job, James, on that one. Bree Clark is another one of our contributors at CornNation, and I think John, correct me if I'm wrong. She has been doing like the 5 reasons we'll win here the last little bit, or
Yeah.
okay.
She does
Cool.
cornflakes on Tuesday, and then she does the 5 reasons Nebraska will win every week during the season.
Very nice. So let's hear what Bree had to say.
Hey, if I could ask Santa for anything for Husker Athletics, my list would be super simple. A volleyball national championship, a football bowl game and win, and men and women's basketball NCAA tournament bids and wins. Super simple. Hopefully Santa can take care of that for us for 2024.
Yeah.
I mean,
And
That'd be
she's
nice.
representing.
That's a nice
I like her
list.
t-shirt.
Yeah, she is. Yeah.
let's see here. Also in the comments right now, Husker Nation 1. Yeah, great point. I didn't know if everybody knows this, but John has some books out. One of them being Been Dead, never been to Europe, but it's cut off because of the great comment from Husker Nation 1 that says John's a good author. I read his book, Been Dead, Never Been to Europe, and The Mystery of the Dent in My Head. Keep writing, John.
He wrote
Please leave me a
something this-
review at Amazon. They're like gold.
Did you talk about what he wrote this week?
What did I
He
write
wrote a
this week?
song. You wrote a song.
Oh, that's right. I did write a
So did
song.
Fred.
Well, I kind of cheated when I wrote this song.
I like the part that you kept saying, "Can I get a witness?" Like,
In regards to Bree's list, Dave Matney says that's a strong list. Husker Nation 1 says wish for the same things. I feel like there's a lot of overlap, but that's okay. Phil Spear says no problem for Santa, I'm sure. And Highlander Gunn wants to know where he can get Been Dead, Never Been to Europe. And I believe that is simply at Amazon.
Mhm.
It is on Amazon. I used to
And it's-
distribute it through a bunch of other things, and I just said I can't do this, and I put it on Amazon. There you go.
And it can get a Kindle version as well as open up a book and
Yeah.
do it that way. There you go. There, Highlander
Yep.
Gun. We expect you to have all of the books by this time next year read, and we want book reports on all of them as well. All right, another video here. Sorry, couldn't help. Don Dre, who is a name from the past, from Todd's past specifically. Don pops in here from time to time, and but Don used to wrestle Todd back when they were much younger. But Don is a good Husker fan and left us a video as well. So here's Don.
Hi, CornNation. Merry Christmas to Todd, John, and Greg. This is Don Dre. I probably look a lot different than I did when I wrestled you back when we were kids, but I still got quite a bit of hair. But the thing that I want for Nebraska for Christmas, for my Christmas, is a team that can three-peat. I want a three-peat team that can three-peat and be the first team to do that. That's my Christmas. That's what I want for Christmas. Okay, I love you guys. I love the show. It's great. I enjoy it every time. And go Big Red.
Red.
Oh, that was
Well,
nice. That was
Harper
That was
Murray
awesome.
did think that the volleyball team, she said, would win the next 3 national
Oh.
championships. So
I keep replaying that short. Oh, that's priceless. She looks so pissed. And
that
I'm like, I love this. This girl, she's got it.
that is also a statement that is sure to generate. If it doesn't happen, then people are going to be pointing at that quite a bit, I think.
Yeah.
Abram says awesome video. Fred says that Don Dre is Todd's Black Scorpion. So now we're getting back to that. Highlander Gun says, and a John Johnston Young Guns poster. That's what he told Santa. So I don't know if we can make prints of that. Probably not. I'm sure a movie studio would be displeased. Husker Nation 1 says, I gladly would have done a book report on Been Dead, Never Been to Europe. My intro would have been John in the bathroom. That's
where shit belongs.
yeah. Let's see here. Three-peat or C3P-O, James Boardman. Good pun there. Brian says, thanks for moving. It's unfair that Minnie was getting covered up all the time by the videos.
It's okay.
So, no, it's
okay.
Trust me. Trust me. Thomas Wright, I think, is a little behind on the show, but that's okay. Highlander Gun says, just put John's face on all the guys. Nobody wants to do that. All right. So
wait, I think that would actually be really funny.
John's face on everybody?
No.
I was okay. You know how we did it for the Young Guns?
Oh yeah.
He's kind of superimposed. Imagine him. Okay, the Husker football team is taking their picture, and then John's face is superimposed on like Dylan Raiola or something.
I don't think he's gonna get stalked by many people with the face.
Yeah.
All right. John, I'm going to let you tell the listeners and viewers who Ashley is before we play her clip.
Okay. Oh, before?
Well,
Ashley Spitznagel is a artist. She does Husker art, you can go find her on Twitter, but on Facebook you can find her. Look for Ashley Spitznagel. Kind of a different name, but she does beautiful prints. Here's the thing: if you're thinking, I don't know what to get somebody for Christmas, go look at her selection of prints, and they're absolutely beautiful. I don't have any of them, but they're the plan for next year is to get at least one of them up on the wall. And here's her video.
Didn't she do? Correct me if I'm wrong. Like a volleyball day in Nebraska painting.
She did. Yes, it's beautiful.
I'm gonna try to.
Has done beautiful,
Oh.
beautiful work.
I'm gonna grab that real quick and try to. I don't know if it'll work. Give me. I apologize for the delay, everybody. Don't. Here, let's see if I.
Well, you're
I can
doing
throw that
that.
up
Well,
real
you're
quick.
doing that. Minnie, what do you want for Christmas?
Well, all these people are bringing to my attention what Kirk Ferentz said. I think
Yeah.
that's really rotten. Like, I felt for the guy. He had tears in his eyes when they beat us. He had tears. So I was like, okay, I don't hate him as bad right now. But right now, I'm kind of like wanting him to get his stocking full of coal for Christmas. That's what I want. Because we got Dylan Raiola because he belongs in Lincoln. It's fair and square.
I like your righteous indignation. You're going to fit in well here. This is Minnie's. I don't think that's the one that's done though. Is that the complete thing?
I don't know, John.
Okay. In any case, you can see her videos on Facebook where she does videos of her painting the process. She has a beautiful painting of oh come on, is it Crawford that's from Nebraska, the boxer?
Yes, Bud Crawford.
Yeah.
I've got it here.
Video.
All right,
Okay.
It's a very short video.
Merry Christmas, Husker Nation. Excited to create new memories for you in the new year.
Aw. I liked her kitty sweatshirt. Or Santa sweater.
I got it, John, right here.
Okay. There's a painting that she did of Bud Crawford. And she does a bunch of Memorial Stadium. She has a lot of different Husker prints. She's a licensed Husker artist. She also does she also does other art pieces, but she's very talented.
Wow.
All right.
Yeah, Justin Raji wants to know, what exactly did Kirk say? What exactly did he say?
I will
I
get it
didn't-
for
I
you in
didn't-
just a minute.
I didn't watch the video, but he was quoted as saying, I wouldn't want, basically paraphrasing, I wouldn't want my coaches talking to a guy who was at 3 high schools in 3 years. In other words, he was implying that he, wasn't trustworthy or stuff like that. Husker Twitter went a little nuts with it today. I just kind of look at it and think, what the fuck? Why would I care what Kirk Ferentz has to say about players that are coming to play at Nebraska?
I don't like it when head coaches say negative things about players or about the staff. I think it shows poor form. So
Yeah.
what do you think about that, Kirk Ferentz?
Wow.
All right, John, who is Connor?
Connor Hayden is
Hayden.
a lot of you know him. He runs Corn Crazed, which is another very, very large YouTube channel, and I've been on with him on some of his shows, and he's very informative. He does very good videos, and you guys should follow him on YouTube.
Well, here's what he has to say. There's a little bit of dare I say, a little bit of bite in this one.
Nebraska fans want to know what I want for Christmas? I want Evan Stewart. I want Julian Fleming. I want any receiver from the portal with Power 5 experience who's had at least 25 catches in the season. Give me that. Nebraska gets back to 9 wins next year. We can all be happy. And by next Christmas, none of us will be sitting at home waiting to see what happens on signing day. We'll all be getting pumped up for a bowl game. That's what I want for Christmas.
That was pretty straightforward.
So experienced P5 receiver with good hands. Let's see here. Brando Sports World, welcome back, Brandos. Santa, let me cover the Nebraska underwater basket weaving team for CornNation. I have 2 months in basket weaving experience, and I can hold my breath underwater for 6 seconds.
6 whole seconds.
Send me an email.
Yes, Connor is the stuff. Connor's really cool.
That's what Phil says, and that's what Abram says. And let's see. Abram also says, unfortunately, I live in Iowa and hear all the time how good Iowa is. We feel for you. Yeah. Phil agrees with Connor 100%, as does David Matney. Back to Kirk. Josh says Kirk should worry about his coaches talking to kids who can use a VPN and ain't non-5-star quarterback going to talk to anyone from that offense ever.
Yeah.
I think he's just screwing with me with some of these comments and the double negatives. All right. Let's double check here before we get to our final submitted video. Some of you Chatterfields in your comments, Phil Spear says a veteran transfer quarterback and wide receiver. So kind of very much in line with what Connor was saying, at least from the receiver standpoint. Cornhusker Corner says, I want Jeff Christensen as quarterback coach. And for Christian.
That would be amazing, wouldn't it? I think he meant for Christmas.
Oh, yeah, I think so too. But I was very like Christian McCaffrey's not even in college anymore. Let's see. Fred says, I'm saving my appearance for when you have me on in the off season. That's why he didn't submit a video, but also says, I want a quarterback who doesn't randomly fumble the ball, who can handle a snap and not throw to linebackers. All big wins there. All right. Josh says, for clarification, no 5-star wants to play for Iowa anyway. That's my point. Sorry. So,
yeah,
all right.
Josh, he's just jealous.
Yeah, that's what it is. And as we all know, comparison is the thief of joy. So, John, are you ready for the last video of the night?
Yeah.
Benny, are you ready?
Yeah.
All right, everybody. This is a big one. This is a doozy. This is the connections and things that John works when we have a fun episode like this. Enjoy.
Hey, Husker fans, it's your boy Adam Carricker. I want to wish you all a Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, Happy Kwanzaa, whatever you celebrate, happy and merry that. Now, I was asked, what Christmas present would I want for Husker fans? There's a couple of things. Number one, a day one starting quarterback that takes care of the football. Number two, that we beat every team that we're supposed to beat next year. We're competitive in every game, and we pull off 1, 2, maybe, I don't know, a whole plethora of upsets. And not just go into a bowl game. Okay, because Matt Rule tends to have leaps from year 1 to year 2. Now the schedule is a little bit more challenging. This video is longer than John Johnson asked for me to make it. You're welcome, extra credit. At least 7 wins.
Yeah.
Go Big Red, and always remember to throw the balls.
That was great.
That was awesome.
He has that catchphrase down. That's what I need to get a catch. I'll need something new other than there is no hope.
I know, you can't use it.
I would be glad to retire that one.
You
There's
can't
a
use that
plethora of
anymore.
hope.
There's
an abundance of hope.
I was thinking about that. I was like, well, can I take this t-shirt and just scratch, put tape through the no part? There is hope, but then you kind of, everything. I don't know how to read.
Well, fuck everything's an attitude anyway. You know what I mean? Fuck
It's just
attitude.
the
Fuck
attitude.
everything can be positive or negative depending upon what you're doing at the time.
I don't know if there's a
Fuck
way to make it
everything
positive.
No, fuck everything is a statement about life because it means I'm going ahead despite all of the problems that I may face in the future. That's what that line means.
Okay.
Nation 1 says there is hope. Don't F everything and go Big Red.
All right.
Brian Bauer. Whoop.
You know, I do have a shirt that I do have a shirt that says Saturdays are for hope and resilience.
Mine still says Saturdays are for pain and sadness. So,
Yeah,
but let's not talk about
this one is to replace that one.
Yeah, but let's not talk about shirts that I have or have not received in the mail, John.
Okay.
Brian Bauer says, I have to admit, signing Dylan will substantially shorten the airing of grievances this Festivus. Vince Watson says, John, send him some T-shirts. I don't know which. I guess I'm assuming it's Adam. Because
No,
Abram,
he's saying you.
No, he said that before I made my comment.
Oh, okay.
Abram says, yes, Adam, rock on. Josh says, worlds colliding.
I love Brando's comment, 931.
Oh, that's right. You're an hour behind. Make a T-shirt that says, go ahead,
Sorry.
finish. Read that one for me, Minnie.
Make a shirt that says, I don't have a black shirt, but I know Adam Carricker. Ooh, throw the bones.
That's a great one. You probably have to get him to sign off on that one, John. Let's see. Husker Nation 1 said, just note I had a video. My wishes were bowl eligibility, March Madness, and volleyball natty. So.
Oh, what is that comment about the Buffaloes?
I don't know.
Bauer?
Make Minnie a shirt that says I was on 5 Heart Podcast and all I got was a Stone T-shirt.
Oh, perfect. Leave it to Fred. No, something about the Buffaloes. Brian said, rebrand it, cross out Big Red, put in Buffaloes. We'll sell like hotcakes. Okay. There is no hope. Fuck everything. Buffaloes. I get it now. Okay. That would be true, actually, for them.
I had
sorry, but true.
I heard a story of, I don't know exactly how many years ago, Brian Bosworth, when he was drafted and playing for Seattle. And I guess the Seahawks were going to go play in Denver. And there were like bootleg T-shirts out in front of the stadium that says like ban the Boz or ban Bosworth or something like that were just selling out because they're probably in Broncos colors. But the brilliant part about this is that Brian Bosworth himself made all those shirts and had people standing out there selling them. It sold like 10,000 shirts that day. So that's some great guerrilla marketing, way to take money from the losers. So
I swear, you just should like black out all of Fred's comments. Otherwise, I just spend half the show laughing.
This is part of the issue. It's not. You'd have to focus on us.
And we apologize for that.
We'll screw you up.
Someone in the comments did say, John, that you sound like you're underwater. I thought the beard was causing that, and it made you shave it. It's not the beard; it's your setup. So whatever you did, you did it wrong, and you need to go back to the way it was.
No, it's the horrible.
Is it the internet? Okay, I've been there. I've been in horrible.
Yeah, it's the internet. My internet is just really terrible.
No, I've been there. I've been in
my internet
land.
Terrible.
It's prevented me.
Yeah,
Abram says, how's that working out for you?
It's not very good, is it?
Abram, with this signing.
No, all John wants for Christmas is better internet.
That's right.
Monica.
With the signing of this new class and all the legends committing is so awesome, and feel we are on the right path is what Abram says, and I don't disagree. I feel like I don't know if I've been this excited for a coaching staff. And I'm sure, we all drank the Kool-Aid, back at the end of 2017, beginning of 2018 for that. And we know how that went. But I already see gains being made in the first year under Matt Rule. And he's been with us, I guess now just a shade over 12 full calendar year. And I just feel like we are in such a better position than we were at the end of the 2018 season. And Minnie, I almost used the word poised. I withheld until I, went back and said,
Yeah.
so, but I feel like, I don't want to say that I'm drinking the Kool-Aid, but I do feel an overwhelming sense of confidence that I haven't really had. There's no way that any of the last 3 head coaches pull in a recruiting class like Matt Rule and company just did. Callahan might have, because he was just coming off of, the NFL tenure and the shiny, that was. And we had some great recruiting classes under Bill Callahan. That's obviously where we got, Ndamukong Suh, et cetera. But a lot of that talent was wasted when, Bo Pelini didn't fill the funnel back up, So I don't know. I'm filled to the brim with optimism, which is crazy because I'm usually Mr. Positivity anyway. I'm the 15-0 guy, but I just feel like, again, here we are end of December, right before Christmas. I can say now, I'll say in August we'll be 15, 16-0. I can say now we're going to go bowling next year. We're going to surprise a lot of people.
I think so. Yeah, absolutely.
So Santa Claus, any final thoughts?
Well, just ho, 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 Merry Christmas. I mean, that's, that is the time of the year of goodwill and peace towards men, all that kind of stuff. Even the Iowa fans, just for a little bit, just for a little bit.
Minnie, can you read that one for us?
Greg's filled to the brim with optimism. John's filled to the brim with disdain. Everything here is in order. Good night, one. Good night, all.
And Husker Nation 1 says, Husker Nation 1 out. Merry Christmas to Greg, Minnie. And last but not least, John, Scrooge, Santa, whatever. Have a good Xmas, guys. Yeah. Nope, not quite. Not quite, Fred. Not quite, Fred. Learn with Z says 10-2 next year. Husker Nation 1 says John's on that McDonald's Wi-Fi. And I think that's not a bad idea. Dave Matney says a line of Fred Sacco shirts in the merch store of some of his best one-liners.
He deserves it.
He does. Not any of the royalties.
No, absolutely not.
But definitely the notoriety.
Monica is here with us, and she is the designer now. So there you go.
There you go, Monica.
Vince Watson, Rule-Aid, and pipeline jerky. That's what's for dinner.
That's what's for dinner.
Move over. That did not go well. Move over Runza, because there's a new meal. That's blurry. I'm so sorry, everybody. I did not think that through. There we go. All right. Let's try that again. Move over Runza. There's a new meal in town. Pipeline jerky and the Rule-Aid. So, all right. That'll do it for this episode. What, John?
It's moist.
That moist pork jerky. All right. That is it for this episode. This very special Christmas special of the 5 Heart Podcast. I'm Greg Mahochko. That is Santa Claus. And there's Minnie. And we wish you all a very Merry Christmas. We'll see you back here next week. But we do remind you now, then, and forever that 5 Heart is all the heart you need. Santa?
Have yourselves a merry little Christmas. May all your dreams be light. Go Big Red.
Minnie.
Merry Christmas, Husker Nation.
And unlike the Monday night show, we don't have to alter our schedule. So we'll see you probably next Thursday right here on your favorite streaming platform, which is the one you're watching right now. Good night.